All right, welcome back to the show. I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Maggie.
And we're Friends on Fire. And we're on a mission to get friends to talk about money.
Okay, so Mike, what have you been up to lately?
So it is pretty cold in Atlanta now. So we are full-blown winter. And I bought a new jacket, and I'm super happy with it.
How much did it cost?
$48.
What kind of jacket is it?
I bought it at REI. It's a down jacket. Let me tell the story.
Okay, sorry.
So I have been like obsessed with these down jackets.
Like real down?
Yeah, real down. So I've been obsessed, but I also like the style, and it's not really like me to like be
Want
into
something.
a real style like that.
Yeah.
But I've been constantly wanting one, and I get fed so many ads on Instagram and Facebook. Like advertisers know that I want this jacket, and it is all I see. Literally every single ad is from every single company with these down jackets. And so we went to REI because we were dropping off some stuff at Goodwill. REI is right next door. We always go into REI. We don't buy anything, but we go in.
I'm not
You're
capable
not
of
that disciplined?
I love REI. It's very close to my house. And I go in and I always spend a ridiculous amount of money.
We never spend anything.
I just have to not. My kids also love to play in the tents and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to, lately, like the past few months when I've been trying to get better, I just don't go to REI because I know my boundaries. Keep going.
I'm fully capable of going in and not buying anything.
You're
But they had this like $150 jacket. It was on sale for $75. And I turned to my wife and I was like, this is it. This is the jacket I want. This is the color I want. It fits perfectly. It's $75. And she looks at me and she's like, I really like it, but not for $75.
Ooh,
and I'm like,
she called you out.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, when it will be the right price point? And she's like, $50. I'm like, all right. So begrudgingly, I put it back.
Is that like an amicable discussion? Like,
oh, yeah. There wasn't.
You guys didn't have like a huge fight in REI?
No, because she was totally right. Because I was like, she's right. I should only spend $50 for this. And then it comes up on sale for $48. And I'm like,
what did you do with the extra $2? Because she gave you a $50 budget.
I mean, I saved it, I guess.
Okay.
It's not really saving. That's not how saving money works. But I spent $48. I got this jacket and I love it. It's super warm. I wear it everywhere. I wear it in the office all the time because
I don't think I've ever noticed you wearing it. What does it look like?
It's black.
What brand is it?
REI.
Oh, REI brand. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a great jacket. I'm sure it looks lovely. I'll have to pay attention next time you wear it. Maybe I have noticed you wearing it.
Yeah, you've actually made comments about it. You just don't remember.
Really?
Yeah,
that's nice. Was my comment like, that is a nice jacket. It looks like it's worth at least $75.
It was something like that.
Okay, nice. Well, congrats on your jacket. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Thank you. I feel really good about this purchase.
Okay, so let's jump into our topic this week. So last week we talked about one of the first kind of pillars or foundations of financial independence, and it was saving less. And on this episode, we want to talk about the second pillar of financial independence, which is growing your wealth.
And these are pretty well related because you need to save money so that you have money to invest, but you need to save money so that you find that ideal lifestyle. And then you know how much you need to grow in order to cover, however many years of spending you need.
So I'm going to just interject here with the idea that for over 10 years, maybe longer, my idea of, I didn't know the term financial independence. I didn't know what FIRE was, any of that. But my idea of being good with my money was I was fairly frugal and I saved a lot, but I just literally let it sit in the bank.
Which technically means you are getting negative returns.
I know.
Because of inflation.
It is one of my biggest financial regrets over the past 2 decades. But I wanted to make that point to say that's why this is such a key piece is you might think you're doing good just by saving money, but you actually have to put that money to work to really maximize the value of your money.
Yeah. And depending on how aggressive your financial independence goals are, you will need to invest extremely aggressively to get there. So if you want to work for 10 years and retire at 35 or 40, you're going to have to make a ton of money. And then from the time you stop working, that money will continue to grow, and you'll need to pull in pretty significant returns in order to make that lifestyle happen. So, this is a critical component of the financial independence model.
But how do you know what to do? Because I knew I needed to do something with my money, but I was paralyzed by choices, and I just didn't know what to do. And so I was constantly like, oh, I need to do something. I need to go meet with a financial planner. I need to get advice from somebody. And I just didn't know what to do. And so that somehow carried on for a very long time.
And I think that's a really valid concern that a lot of people have. But complexity around investing is in some ways very real. It is a sophisticated way to grow money. But in many ways, it's very simple because like the industry has been set up to make sure people do this, because companies make money by you investing. And so they want you to put your money in, they want you to be trading. And so like there are ways to go do this. And the amount of resources available online to teach yourself how to make this happen is astounding. And so I'm constantly learning new things on a daily basis from people who produce material and from investors who are publishing information. And so you can definitely go do this yourself. And you need to, even if you don't want to like be the one to be making trades or buying real estate, you need to understand how it works, and the information's out there and available to you.
So super specifically though, Mike, where should somebody start?
That is a good question.
You want me to answer my own question?
No. I think what people have to understand is the first thing they have to understand is how compounding growth works. And then from there,
can you tell me how?
Yes, I will get into that. So compounding growth is the idea that if you have $1 and you earn 10%, you have $1.10. If you then earn 10% the next year on that dollar, you've now earned 11 cents instead of 10 cents. So you are growing your money, and it is growing at a faster rate as a dollar amount. And so over time, you earn returns upon your returns upon your returns. And so what started out as a very small amount of savings has grown into a significant amount of savings. And you can do this a number of different ways. The predominant form of this is by investing in the stock market.
Right. So not compound interest on my savings account that was at a ridiculously...
Right. Your 0.2% savings rate is not going to get you to financial independence.
The whole concept of compound interest, which I totally understand and know, is what is so frustrating about what I had done for the first sort of 10 years of my professional life in terms of not investing enough money. It's not that I didn't invest any money, but I did not invest like the bulk of my money.
And even now, you're not really investing that aggressively. You're pretty conservative.
Super conservative. Yeah. It's my whole bag lady. Like I just want to not lose the money I have. I'm less focused on making tons of money. But we'll talk about the 401k change I made recently based on your advice. My 401k has made, it's not just the market, but in general, it was like dramatic change in my 401k returns from making some changes that Mike had advised me on. So anyways.
So the way you capitalize on compounding interest is by investing in the stock market. And there are a bunch of different vehicles by which you do this. And I think the easiest one for people to understand is ETFs. So exchange traded funds. It takes a share of a bunch of different companies within a certain sector. So if you say you want to have a healthcare ETF, you get a little bit of a bunch of different healthcare stocks. Or if you want to do an S&P 500, it takes the entire index and you get a little bit of each of those shares. And so whatever that sector does or whatever that industry does, that's what the ETF does. If it grows, your share, your money grows with that. And you can go buy this in your 401k. You can go buy this with E-Trade or Schwab or Fidelity or whatever you want. You just open
an account.
Just go open up an account and start investing. This is where I think a lot of people get confused, because the easiest thing to do is just to go buy an S&P 500 index fund and let it grow over 30 years. And historically speaking, you're going to make money. The market goes up and down, but over time it always grows. But you consume a lot of information that says like, this is going to be the next big thing, or be prepared for this, or here's this up and coming industry. And people try to like gamble and time the market and find these great opportunities versus just chugging along at 3, 4, 5, 6% annual returns. And if you're kind of shooting for a big gamble, chances are you're going to end up losing your money, because the people who are really good at that are institutional investors, and they're investing trillions of dollars to go capitalize on these things. If you find out this information, you've already missed your opportunity and you're not going to get a return on it.
Okay. I think the other piece of advice, just based on my own learnings for people and what you're saying, Mike, would be just do something now. So if you're sitting on even $500 that you want to start investing and you're kind of paralyzed with choices and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to do Vanguard. I don't know if I want to do Fidelity. Just pick one and do something and get started, because one of my biggest regrets is I let too much time pass when I was like, oh, I'll do it next month, or I'll do it next year. I'll figure it out eventually, or I'll do it when I have more money or whatever. But you can start small. I mean, you can open up these accounts with like, I don't even think there's a limit for most of them, but if you have $100 sitting in the bank, start now and start something now instead of constantly waiting for perfect information or the perfect thing. Because even if you want to take a more conservative approach, it's still okay, but do something other than just letting your money sit in the bank, because that does not grow wealth.
I think one good way to do this is most people who are listening are going to have some sort of company-sponsored retirement plan. And within that plan, there's going to be investment options. And to keep it simple for employees, there might only be 5 or 10 options in there. So if you've set up a 401k, which I hope everybody has, even if you haven't chosen your investments, it's going to default to something. But go in and look at the investment choices that are available and just like read about them. You can click on it. There'll be a little summary. It tells you what it's invested in. You can see the historical returns. Like, this is how you learn about these things, by getting into it. So Maggie, your point about, starting now from a financial return standpoint makes a lot of sense. Like, the earlier you start, the more time you'll have in the market, the higher return you'll get in theory. But also, starting now means this is when you start learning. Like, if you just wait for yourself to become an expert on this, it will never happen. You need to have a reason and an opportunity to start learning. And people learn by doing. So like, get into your accounts and start looking at the things that are available to you.
So that's actually a great segue to talk about 401ks, because you just made a comment that you said, I hope most people are leveraging their 401ks. When we talk about growing your wealth, one of the most important things is to just think about all of the different tools that are available to you and make sure you're maximizing them. So one of the most obvious ones is most people that work for a company do have a 401k available to them, or some version of that. If you work for a government or a school, you have something else. I can't.
403B, I think.
Yeah. I think that's what my husband has, actually, because it's a nonprofit. If you work for a company, your company probably matches some percentage of your 401k. And I am always shocked by the number of people that are not putting in the amount that their company's matching. They're literally leaving money on the table. So forget what you're going to invest your 401k in. You're giving up free money that your company is willing to pay you. So my company matches 6% as an example. I have talked to people over the years who are like, yeah, I'm not quite up to 6%, but I'm going to get there soon. And I'm like, they're the same people that I see walking in with Starbucks in the morning.
There is no greater return on investment than a company match. It is an immediate 100% return on investment. You put in $1, somebody gives you another $1.
Yeah, it's like telling the company, you don't need to pay me another $1,000 this year. Why don't you just keep it? I don't want it. It literally. And then another $1,000 that's going to earn compound interest for the next, 20, 30 years.
So how many people do you think don't do this based on your experience?
I have no idea. Do you have some stats on that?
Mm-mm.
Do you have like insider access to this kind of data?
No, but I think it's more prevalent in younger employees.
I agree. I have had some conversations with people where they say they can't afford it, but this is what's so tough about this topic. I think sometimes you have to challenge, what are you spending your money on? So you think you can't afford it, but actually you probably could if you made some priorities and some trade-offs or some prioritization decisions in your life. The other thing is that money is pre-tax, which is also a huge benefit. So it's lowering your taxable income, and we can talk more about that in the future. But it's sort of double benefit as a result of that.
Yeah, a big part of growing your wealth is maximizing your tax opportunities, and so any opportunity you have,
minimizing your taxes. Maximizing your opportunities, I guess.
Yes, maximizing your opportunity,
your taxes,
minimizing your tax burden.
Yeah,
you're right. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. You've got the actual data and information, and I'm just.
You just want to interject, keep me on my toes.
Uh-huh.
Saving money on taxes is also a great way to earn effectively a return on investment. And so, if you just get your whole paycheck and you don't save any of it, you're being taxed a pretty high percentage, most likely. If you can save on those taxes, either temporarily or permanently, that's a huge return on investment. That is how you grow wealth. And so a 401k, which is the most widely available tool, gives you tax deferred savings. So you don't pay taxes now, you pay it in the future when you withdraw it. You're getting a match from your employer, and then you can go invest those funds in the market and earn a return. Like this is the culmination of all of the things that are available to you. But there are a lot of different tools. There are Roth IRAs, there are health savings accounts, there are dependent care flex savings accounts. There are a lot of things that you should be aware of and be taking advantage of. So if you have the opportunity to save money on taxes, you should absolutely be doing that.
Yeah. And the earlier you start doing this, the better. So I think just to recap the 401k stuff, you should definitely be at least putting in the percentage that your company matches. And then I would highly encourage people, if they can afford to max out their 401k. I've only been doing that for the past few years, though I technically could have been affording to do it longer. I just don't think I knew that it was such a great tax strategy, tax and retirement saving strategy. And so if you in any way can swing maxing out your 401k, which is putting in the annual amount that the government lets you put in, which this year is how
19,500.
There we go. You're like a database of facts. 19,500. Again, that's pre-tax. So it's actually a lot more. You're going to explain this better than I can, but it's even more than it seems because it's pre-tax.
Yeah. So if you were to put in 19,500 pre-tax. If you were to take that into your paycheck, you would be taking home 14,000.
60 to 70% of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even better to. So yes, again, it's got a lot of great advantages to doing that. And then I know, Mike, when you were just rattling off like all of these different tools like 401k, Roth IRAs, your FSA accounts, etc. When people are overwhelmed by, again, all of those choices and kind of hear all of that and are like, I don't know what all those things are, I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to begin, I again go back to just start somewhere and do something today. And again, the first place we would start is with your 401k and making sure you're doing the company match and then trying to max it out if you can. And then we'll get into some future strategies for more like tax strategies in a future episode.
Once you are past the kind of what I'd call the basics, 401k and health savings account, and those sorts of things, taking your after-tax dollars and investing them is also pretty critical to achieving financial independence. So Maggie, you invest today. What do you use?
I use a bunch of different things, but the biggest thing when I say like just do something now, the biggest thing that I did start doing a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, is I opened a Wealthfront account. And so Wealthfront is basically, I don't know how they would describe it, but it's like a robo investing tool. Betterment is one of their big competitors. It doesn't matter which tool you use, but any of the tools have some significant value, particularly for someone like they're not of value to someone like Mike, quite honestly. They are of value to someone like me, where I was a little bit not afraid to invest, but I just didn't really know where to begin. I didn't know what funds to pick, etc. These tools basically ask you some questions about like your level of risk tolerance. And again, I'm a little bit more conservative. And I have a couple of different accounts in Wealthfront. One that's more conservative that I call kind of my long-term fund. One that's a little bit more of my short-term fund that is much more aggressive in terms of what I'm investing in. And so they ask you these questions. They give you a risk tolerance score, and then they choose how to invest your money based on what that is. And you can go off what they suggest based on how you answer the questions, or you can just pick your risk tolerance on a level of 1 to 10. And I love those tools because for the sort of novice, it gives you something to do now. It's really low fee. So I would never, ever invest my money with a financial planner that is charging me a percentage of my assets. I don't even know where to begin on this, but I would never do it. Sometimes they're even charging you a percentage of like your 401k and things that are kind of like sitting there, not changing that often. But these are super low fee compared to that. And I've enjoyed it because it's sort of like got me started.
And I think the reason that the Wealthfront and Betterment don't appeal to me is because it isn't easy to understand what is being purchased within those things.
Confusing. Yeah.
And so when you say high risk, low risk, to be fair, like you don't really know what's invested. You're sort of trusting that whatever.
Well, they
portfolio.
do show you, but I'm not like digging into it. They show you the percentages of where your money is going.
And they show you the specific stocks?
You can see the specific stocks. Now, do I look at them? They're super complicated statements that are like 20 pages. You should see the tax forms because they constantly are like buying and selling stuff. They're doing tax loss harvesting and other things. So I have no idea what they're doing. It's a little bit black box to me, but it makes me feel like something really cool is happening with my money.
And there's nothing wrong with this. And so these are really great options for people. And
it's better than not doing anything. I'll put it that way.
And like I've seen your accounts, you're getting good returns on this. I think the reason that it doesn't work for me is that, again, I'm in corporate finance. I have a very meticulous approach to these sorts of things. And so I need to know exactly what I'm investing in so that I can understand where I am over or underperforming.
Yeah.
So if a certain investment doesn't give the same returns as another investment, I need to know what's going on there so that I can make a change.
Yeah.
And so if you get into something like Betterment and you just have a portfolio and it isn't giving you the returns you want, it is really hard for you to understand why and what you should do differently.
That's very true. You also are willing to invest the time to do that. And it's something that you're interested in and passionate about. I'm interested and passionate in the idea of saving money and growing wealth, but I'm not interested in like the details and the nuances of like how different things are performing. I take a much more like macro level view of things. And so for me, it works. But if I had your brain and interest in this, like I would totally be doing it myself also. And you probably are outperforming and beating Wealthfront, on a day-to-day basis. But back to the point we made a lot during this, it is 1,000,000% better than what I was doing, which is getting like, 0.5 to 1% interest, over the now interest is up to like 2% on savings accounts. It's much better than that. So there's sort of these, like levels of what you're capable and willing to do. And so for me, Wealthfront is like a huge step in a positive direction, given where I was. And I'll probably continue to evolve and advance, particularly as I, kind of can learn more from people like you.
So maybe it would be kind of a fun activity game if we were to do a little competition and see what we can do with, say, $5,000.
Yeah, I feel like I should just concede now that I'm going to lose, but I love a good competition. So
maybe we don't have to frame it up as a one-on-one competition. It's that you are going to take a more passive approach. You're going to look through Wealthfront and determine which portfolio mix you think will generate the highest
I'm going to knock
return.
Wealthfront up to like a 10% risk score.
Ooh.
Makes me nervous, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I can already see you sweating over there. And then we'll come back over.
Are you going to give me $5,000?
No, I'm not going to give you.
Okay.
And the winner does not get the other person's $5,000.
Okay.
So
the winner just gets pride of knowing that they're better than
So
the
we'll
other
each
person.
get $5,000.
Okay.
I think we need
we'll
to
each take our own $5,000.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Let me clarify. We are not giving each other money here.
Okay.
We're just going to see who does better.
I like it.
Okay. Are we going to do this in
I think
tax deferred, tax free, or taxable accounts?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Do you?
I know what those are, but like I'm gonna do it with cash, and I'm gonna go put it in an account. I'm gonna go put mine in Wealthfront. Let's be honest.
Okay, so we will do it in taxable accounts,
Post-tax.
which means that we'll pay capital gains when we sell these things.
Yeah, well, we don't have to sell it at the end. We're just gonna compare our data.
Okay, that's fair.
So we could just, it's our own problem what we do with it at the end of the competition, but.
Well, no, I mean, that's part of the competition. How you take advantage of the tax situation.
Phase 2 competition. Let's just start with how much money we're both able to make off our, how quickly we're able to grow our $5,000.
Okay. So what time period you want to do?
I think we could start on Monday.
Okay. And we'll do 1 month.
Is that long enough?
We'll look at it after a month, and then we'll look at it again in 2 months.
How about we'll give 30, we'll do like
30, 60, 90 days.
Look at that. 30, 60, 90 reports back to our listeners.
Okay.
On that.
And I think it will be like a really good lesson if an actively managed investment on my part underperforms a passive algorithm investment.
Yes. Yeah. And we will subtract the fee. So like I will pay a small fee on mine, the fee that I pay Wealthfront. So we'll make it like a very legit comparison of like, the fact that I had a fee and you didn't and all that.
Okay. What does the winner get?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay. TBD.
Okay. Pride is the most important thing, but there'll be an actual prize also. Can I share a really funny story?
Sure.
Okay, there was somebody, one of our coworkers, you know who this person is, but I will not name them on air. It's one of my like good friends at work. We've worked together for a really long time. And at some point we were like, he was trying to lower his cholesterol and I happen to have incredibly low cholesterol. I don't mean to brag, but I've been vegan for a few years and my cholesterol, I think, could beat out just about anybody's. And his was high and he was talking about how he was trying to like eat healthier and lower it. And somehow we also have a lot of personal finance discussions with this particular person. And so he had been helping me with some advice on my 401k investments. And I had a bad experience with a financial planner. And so anyways, I had kind of like told him about the story along the way. And so we were jokingly comparing how much better my cholesterol was than his, but he was comparing how much better his 401k performance was versus mine over the past 10 or 15 years. His was significantly better than mine because he had very actively managed it, Mike, the way that you do on yours. And I had kind of like passively, I didn't even know like what accounts it was in, honestly. I think I had in like a Target fund or something like that. And we were sort of joking. And then at the end, I was like, what would I rather have over the past 10 years? Like better cholesterol or a better 401k performance? And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, honestly. Like I could fix my cholesterol overnight if I wanted to, but I can't fix my 401k performance over the past 10 to 15 years.
That's a really tough one.
Yeah. So a question for our listeners, if anybody wants to call in and give us their thoughts, what would you rather have? Amazing cholesterol or amazing 401k performance? These are the sort of like philosophical discussions we're going to get into on Friends on Fire. This is why friends should be talking about this stuff.
I think that's why we're going to make it big. It's a big differentiator for us.
Yeah, exactly. Because of cholesterol. Someday we'll compare cholesterols at the end. Oh, let's actually add cholesterol to our comparison.
Over this time period?
Over the same time period. I just had a physical last week, so I can throw mine in. We'll figure it out. It might be hard.
Yeah, but you don't eat animal products, so your cholesterol is going to be like baseline.
Okay, that's true. I think it's more of just like never mind. I just wanted to brag about my cholesterol.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sign up for a competition that you're just definitely going to win. Okay. That's stupid.
Okay, fair point. Okay,
all right, I think we need to wrap this
up.
up.
To be clear, you've conceded on the cholesterol.
I have low cholesterol. It is not as low as yours.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your low cholesterol.
Thanks. Congratulations on your lower cholesterol.
Thank you. Let's do the segment that I hope you have come to know and love, which is Mike's Minute on the Mic. So again, this is where I ask Mike one question and he has 60 seconds to answer it. And he has no idea what the question is until I ask it. So today's question, Mike, is going to be very on topic since we were talking about growing wealth. I'm just setting my timer here. So I want to know, if I have $100,000 sitting in cash right now, what should I do with it? Go.
Ooh.
Today, knowing that the market is sort of at a bit of a peak right now.
Okay, it's in cash in a taxable account or it's in a retirement account?
Taxable account that is earning 2% interest.
I think that is an impossible question to answer because it depends on your situation and what plans you have and what opportunities you have. So you could invest it. You could invest it in real estate. You could pay down your mortgage. You could hold on to it and wait for a dip. I personally would not put it all in the market because I think we're really high, but it's there are too many scenarios for me to give you one recommendation. And I feel like I'm doing a terrible job in this 1 minute answer.
That was a tough question. So
that was a tough question.
You're right at 60 seconds, so we'll stop you. But that was a tough question. And it's a fair answer that it depends. And I think it's representative of a lot of these topics where it's such a personal... There's so many factors that need to go into being able to give an answer to a question like that. But I like to stump you, so...
Yeah. Is this going to be the theme where you just like give me just the most impossible question?
No, sometimes they're going to be like silly, ridiculous questions.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that wraps up another episode on growing wealth on your journey to FIRE and financial independence. Thank you so much, everyone. And just a couple really quick reminders. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 404-981-3370. And you can leave us a question, comment, or a tip, and we will play it on the air. We'd love to hear from you.
And please
Please.
leave us a review on iTunes or whatever you're using to listen to this podcast. It really helps other friends find our podcast when you leave your feedback.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Maggie.
Bye.
Bye.